Well, hello to round two. This is an edited 1 hour Rebellion video, a little bit longer than that, maybe. I am playing the bad guys here, and my opponent Ani is playing the Imperials. So, round two for me, I had a bye in the first round, so this is technically round three. So, Annie has won back to back games. The first game was a imperial victory and then another imperial victory, I believe. And her second imperial victory was against Here's Jim, who's a pretty seasoned veteran. So I've been talking with Annie a little bit here on Discord, and it sounds like it's been a few years since the last games they played. But based on the fact that they beat Here's Jim, I think we're in good shape. So I drew C-3PO and Riken's cards. Not great, but C-3PO can come in handy from time to time. You can see the layout here. Salukami, I always do this, I don't know what it is next to Kashyyyk and Mon Cal, and Naboo is next to the Death Star. So I go with a deployment in Hoth with the idea of blockading Mustafar because there's no rebel or there's no imperial loyalty in Corellia. And then by default, I build away from the Death Star, which means either Dantooine or Yavin. I decide to go for Yavin. I have Defend the People, which is not a great objective. That's difficult to score. So, yeah, that's what we got. We will be playing basic missions here, I think. Infiltrate, build alliance, sabotage, use Leia to block. There's no reason to put base defenses out now, and no real reason to hit and run. With a neutral Corellia, there's a decent chance Annie will play Rule by Fear. And yeah. So we'll see. Looks like, yeah, so you'll see here Ani went with a 3-year, 3-group deployment with the Death Star paired up with a Star Destroyer and Assault Carrier. Now Vader's on a mission. So the first thing I want to do is infiltrate where the Death Star is, because if Vader is on Imperial propaganda, I want to make it not an automatic pass if they try to do Imperial propaganda where Dodonna is. It's very important to try to make sure that your first Mon Cal gets built, because you need a Mon Cal. You really need a Mon Cal late game, maybe two. Okay, Teg goes to Corellia. That makes me think Vader may not be on Rule by Fear, because if Vader's on Rule by Fear, why not send the Emperor? I mean, the problem is, I guess, if you send the Emperor Tarkin, maybe I sabotage it. So I just go ahead and sabotage Mustafar. Now, that may seem kind of weird, right? Wombat, you deployed your troops in Hoth. Why did you do that? Well, it's because I'm really going to be struggling trying to wait out Vader's mission here. So I'm assuming I'm not going to be able to use Leia to attack. So instead, I just place sabotage on Mustafar. There wasn't anything else major to sabotage except maybe Salukami. But yeah. So now with Leia, so I have a choice. If I Mothma in Utapau and then Vader and the Emperor go do Imperial propaganda, then I lose my Mon Cal. So instead, I just place Leia in Corellia because I'm anticipating Vader on a Rule by Fear, or at least I have to take that chance. So he takes the free Rule by Fear in Mon Cal to flip it from loyal to subjugated, from rebel loyal subjugated to neutral subjugated. So now at this point, because it's not propaganda, I can gain loyalty in Utapau, and then the Star Destroyer comes to subjugate Naboo, which is fine. Okay, so Vader is like a nasty. I mean, Tarkin's bad too. Tarkin, I think, is arguably the best round one leader to have on a mission, but Vader's a very close second. So he can definitely throw off timing for playing missions. Okay, so finishing up the turn, I drew Long War, a rescue, and plan the assault. My leader is Wedge with 1 in a million. And then I didn't have too much build, so just a single Moncal and Nebulon. So anytime that happens, it's really important to try to keep Imperial production down, because 2 Moncals can stand up against a bunch of damage, like several Star Destroyers, but 1 Moncal often cannot. So I just put 2 guys in the base. I keep a Y-Wing on Q because there's no easy thing to attack here. And then no need to plan the assault. With Defend the People in Long War, I'm going to need to hold on to my mission. So this is looking like another 3 mission sort of turn. Maybe I'll play a Rapid too. Yeah, Rapid would make sense. You know, I could do a hit and run here on one of the assault carriers, because in theory, if you hit and run the assault carrier in Naboo, then the Star Destroyer is forced to go to Utapau, and then that's further away from the base, obviously. But if you hit and run the assault carrier in Moncal, I just don't want to look too suspicious, so I think I'll just do the regular 4 missions. That also gives me a good opportunity to look at what cards are going to be at the bottom of the deck, so I might be able to retreat later. Okay, so Tarkin is going to play Brilliant Administrator on Moncal. Okay. Get a Star Destroyer on the queue. That's a good strategy against only 1 Moncal on the queue, for sure. No need to wait for that assault carrier. I don't think. I'd rather have that Star Destroyer out early. Bad news for him is I've got Wedge, so maybe Wedge could have Rogue Squadron raid coming up, which would be nice to get rid of that Star Destroyer, but I mean, you gotta put stuff on the queue. I'm going to start with a Sabotage in Moncal. Why Moncal? I guess maybe because I think he's ruling by fear with Vader or the Emperor. So by sabotaging that, then that's going to stick, and then I'd have a sabotaged. I don't think that's a very good idea. I rolled 2 blanks, so it didn't stick. I could have just had a sabotage on like Megiddo, or I think that was kind of a waste, honestly. Because I mean, obviously you should win 2v0, but you don't always win 2v0, and sure enough there, that was definitely the case there. So, okay, Tag subjugates Utapau, fine. He leaves a decent-sized force with that assault carrier. I'll Rapid. With Rapid, I can sort of figure out what probes are going to be at the bottom of the deck when I may need them. So that seems fine. Vader and the Emperor on missions never are a good feeling. So likely when I infiltrate, I'll need to infiltrate where Wedge is. And again, that's another problem because that infiltrate won't be automatic either. So I don't know. I think that was definitely a bad place. That was a very greedy place to sabotage. All right, let's see what he does. I'm assuming one of those is Rule by Fear. I've actually forgotten. Yeah, Vader, Rule by Fear, where Tarkin is. So 3v0. I could block this with Leia, but I mean, who knows what the Emperor's on, right? Maybe the Emperor's on probe draw, so would I rather roll a 3v2 or maybe if Emperor's on display of power, do that. Plus he might roll blanks here. He doesn't. Okay, fine. So loyal. Great. Okay. Infiltrating. I'm not worried about a capture anymore, so I guess just infiltrate Magneto. Last level ones, regional support or decisive victory. Now, regional support, it's not easy to get in Celeste because Celeste is loyal already, but I feel like decisive victory may not be great either because, again, I've only got one Moncal out, so it's not an automatic base win or anything. So I went ahead to go with regional support. I'm not too concerned about it because I've got Long War either way. So, and we almost know 100% we're going to play Long War just because we got Defend the People here. All right, so Piet takes Toydaria, fine, no problem. And then I've got to build alliance. So if I'm going to make a play for regional support, I've got some free spots. Like in Mandalore is probably better than Nal Hutta in this case because he doesn't have anything immediately next to it and he's not going to deploy, so I'll get a build there. I could take Malastare, but then he's just going to walk on top of it, probably with the Death Star. Ryloth seems reasonable too, but for regional support, I think Mandalore is the correct pick there. It's the core systems have no Imperial loyalty. Every other system has Imperial loyalty except for Mygeeto and Ord. But I don't know, seems fine. Okay, now he's got the Emperor. So if the Emperor's on a probe draw, I've got Leia to block it. If the Emperor's on display of power, I could block it. Emperor's on deployment. Rote deck. Rote deck always throws me off when Imperials pick Rote. So deployment is tricky because if you're trying to guess where the base is with the Emperor and you deploy there, like the Emperor's just going to die. But also, like, that might be worth it because like the Empire's got recruit cards in that deck too. So he tries to deploy on Ryloth and I'll try to block it with Leia. Okay, rolled 1, Emperor rolls 2, so he does get a deployment. Okay, 0 for 2. Leia never seems to block anything for me. I'm not sure why I keep her back. But what else was she going to do? Run sabotage while Wedge ran hit and run, maybe? I don't know. All right, let's look at my 4 cards. They are Bespin, Kessel, Endor, and Toydaria. So Kessel and Endor are pretty decent cards to have at the bottom of the deck because I might be able to escape there, especially since I got a fleet floating around in Hoth. Also, I know he doesn't know about Kessel, and I know he doesn't know about Endor. So that seems fine. Okay, end of the round. We're going to draw our objective, which was whatever that one was, regional. I still have Long War. I can throw Defend the People into it. And then I could take Wedge's card, or I could take Wookiee Guardian, which is one of the best cards in the game, so I'll take Wookiee Guardian. He was pretty good about not leaving any assault carriers hanging with like an easy Y-wing attack, so I could plop the Y-wing on Mandalore and then blockade Seleucami and see if I can get his carrier to come back and attack me. That could be a good move, but I don't know. Might be overly ambitious. So really the main goal here, we're just trying to get some objectives scored. So no sense throwing regional into Long War unless maybe I get propaganded. He did take Jabba, so that's okay. Means the Emperor won't necessarily have to try to deploy. Looks like I'm keeping everything on the queue. I think Y-Wing and Mandalore might have been good. Blockade Seleucami after the Star Destroyer moves to Kashyyyk, if it does. I guess the problem is if it doesn't, then the Star Destroyer could just capture me, right? Okay, he deploys on the Death Star. No problem. Maybe time for base defenses. Maybe time for hit and run. I do have Chewie. Probably if I have Chewie, I should be running hit and run here, I think. I'm not really worried about a planetary or a capture. I'm not too worried about that either. Sometimes the threat of Chewie makes people not run captures. So I think we'll just run the basics. Infiltrate, sabotage, build alliance, hit and run. The other piece here, in addition to blocking, I do have that ground force to... Oh, I've got a Dodonna on stolen plans, not infiltrate, which that seems like a better infiltrate, probably. If you run stolen plans and infiltrate together, you can get rid of an objective that you want to get rid of, like you can get rid of your worst objective in there. Because I've got Wedge and 1 in a million, I'm sort of inclined to be going for the Death Star, so this Death Star plans might actually be for the purpose of killing a Death Star. I don't know. All right. We are going to run base defenses. We are going to run sabotage. Let's see what happens here. Okay. If I'm the Empire right now, I'm definitely suspicious of like Dathomir, Yavin. Not necessarily Dantooine, because there was no sabotage in Mygeeto, but there was a sabotage attempt in Mon Cal. So maybe I am thinking Yavin here as Empire. But again, they can't afford to commit there yet because they don't know about Endor and Kessel. Okay, so 3 missions, Jabba, Tag, Tarkin. He's been running some R&Ds, so there's probably maybe like a construct factory or something. Maybe a Super Star Destroyer. So he does have some blockers back. There's a risk that Jabba's on Subversion, but it doesn't seem like Tag would be on Capture, so I'm just going to run Dodonna Stolen Plans. And let's see what my objectives are. The hope is that one of these is the Death Star plans, which it is. So, you know, Death Star plans feels right. He's got a lot of things in Coruscant, so I don't love that. So if I put the Death Star plans on top of raid outposts, then the next turn, if he has moved onto remotes, then I can infiltrate raid outposts away. And if he is not, then I can draw it. And raid outposts is a very good card to have with Riken's bit. There's an argument for I should have taken raid outposts instead of Death Star plans, but there's also a possibility. I mean, it's pretty unlikely that he would cover remotes. He'd have to go to like Dagobah, and is there even a second remote he can go to? Not really. He'd just have to go to Dagobah, which, you know, only protects one. So, you know, maybe there's an idea there, but also I have planned the assault. I have Wedge, so kind of seems like I should probably be going for that. So hit and run in Mon Cal, and if you saw, he promoted in Corellia to bring in General Veers. So General Veers is a worse version of Krennic's Finest. They're both 1 and 3. Veers has 2 fist icons, and Krennic's Finest has 2+2 minors, so 4. And Krennic's Finest has got, I don't know. It's got a cool look going to it. But like the only reason you'd take Veers is if you had Planetary Assault. So I've got Chewie, so okay, fine. Also, taking Veers and putting him in Corellia makes me not want to sabotage Corellia, which is fine. I hit and run with Chewie to get rid of the assault carrier in Mon Cal, and then I run base defenses to add to the base, and then Piet has moved to cover Ord Mantell. All fine. Okay, so Empire's got 4 things left to do, and he's going to have a leader advantage next turn. Okay, so Vader's going to continue to move. Does he keep the Star Destroyer in Utapau, or does he? Yeah, he does. Okay, so he's going to use that to check Tatooine, I'm sure. Okay, sabotaging where I should have sabotaged a long time ago. Great. My hope here is to delay a little bit, because if I play Build Alliance on Malastare and he feels that that's what I'm doing, he can move with the Emperor, then rule by fear. I would just like to see what Jabba's on before I play my loyalty card if possible. My Build Alliance. Okay, so he draws another project card, getting rid of the sabotage. That makes this move pretty easy. There's some good value for using Leia to attack Mustafar. That blocks another assault carrier. Gives me a possibility to pull out Tag's action card. I could kill a leader here, but also he's only 2 turns away from having to discard a leader unless he's got Jabba's card. But I think I really value harassment here more than anything. So I think it makes sense just to try to kill stuff. Okay, he blows up one of mine. Now I'm rolling 3, he has 2. Decent chances. Got 2 hits, 2 hits. I don't think it makes sense to go for the kill, so we'll just do that. Okay, block 1. Then he does a damage. So we're good. Still have 2 guys left in Mustafar. It's blockaded. We're waiting for Jabba or the Emperor. Jabba goes, it's a rule by fear. Great. That's going to basically ensure I get this objective up here. And objectives are how you win the game. So that's what we're going to do. If you're the Empire, where do you build here? It is a build turn, so maybe you build in Geonosis. Okay, in Ord. Ord seems reasonable. Okay, build alliance. I think it's not necessary to kind of obfuscate where you're going here. Even if he blocked with the Emperor, I could push it through with C-3PO. But I do delay a little bit here just while I'm thinking. So Malastare is open. It might also draw the Death Star on top of it. This is a build round, and I did sabotage his only shield bunker. So I wanted to make sure the Death Star didn't just wander onto Bespin and build a shield bunker and then stick it on itself, because that's harder to kill. But instead he goes for Malastare, which is totally reasonable, because the core, like the center systems are fully rebel, generating troops, kind of a pain to deal with. And then obviously just scoring that objective. So that's good. And we'll do the cleanup phase here. Death Star plans as predicted. So now I've got plan the assault. Oh, I drew Skywalker, Son of Skywalker. That could be good. But Madine is better, because just in case there's some sort of shield bunker that gets placed on the Death Star somehow, like I missed it, Maydeen could take it out and then add 2 to his plan the assault roll. Okay, I'm going to build kind of like a plethora of stuff here. And then for deploying, I don't necessarily want to give away what's happening, so I wait a little bit, but ultimately put the X-Wing and the Nebulon in the base. So my calculation here is basically if I get the Death Star, I'll be at 11, right? And then I have Long War, which will basically be automatic at some point. So that'll put me at 10. So then I need to survive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 turns, 5 or 6 turns at a minimum. So if I blow up the Death Star, 5 or 6 turns will be 2 more Star Destroyers that'll deploy, because I didn't draw any to blow up the Star Destroyer cards yet. So there will be 2 more Star Destroyers on the map. Now, if I had 2 Moncals that I could put in Yavin, I'd feel pretty good about everything. But instead, because I don't, I need to make sure at least one of the Star Destroyers gets deployed not on the Yavin side of the map, and preferably both. But that's going to be a little bit tricky without hit and run. So I need to plan the assault. I also need to have Wedge there, and I also need to do it before he moves that Death Star anywhere. So I just need to give away what I'm doing, I think, by putting Wedge and Dodonna on the same mission. So I do that. I was worried for Boba Fett because he pulled Boba Fett, and that could have been like you could have played Boba Fett Wear on Malastare. He wouldn't have really been able to protect it very well next turn, but I don't know. So I try with these two. He could have subversion on Jabba, so it could be like Piet and Jabba subverting this, which would be really good. That's one of the pitches for Luke Skywalker is 4 intel with Dodonna is better. So he elects not to block with Piet. Instead, he elects to start the battle and then play Piet's action card. If he had attempted to block with Piet, then the Death Star would be stuck in place because Piet could not go back to the pool. So that being said, you gotta try to protect the Death Star. So I bring 4 fighters, which is actually 1 fighter too many. He has 7 dice to roll, so the maximum hits he could have are 8. Is 7 hits plus 1 card, and you need 9 in order to take out everything with the Nebulon card if you have 3 X-Wings. So, and 1 in a million is a guarantee, so there's no reason I should be wasting this Y-Wing here. I can simply play the Nebulon card, which removes 2 damage. He could roll 4 crits with the Death Star, 2 hits with the TIE Fighters, 1 crit with the Striker for 7. And then he could play Death Star Laser or Swarm Tactics to get the 8th hit. But we'll see. So I play the Nebulon card. He plays the Shield Bunker card, which doesn't do anything in this case because I didn't flip. He rolls not a bunch of crits, so the things are definitely surviving, but he could kill my Nebulon. Yeah, so he kills the Nebulon and places 2 extra damage on something, which then will get removed. There's no need to overkill the Nebulon because it's because I can't heal because I went first. So that died. Remove the damage. I will roll for the Death Star, except instead of rolling, I will 1 in a million just to guarantee it. There's something to be said for maybe pushing my luck and seeing if I can kill it naturally, but he could roll 4 crits and I could roll no heals, and then I can't flip the combat. So he could kill my stuff next turn. So it's better to not mess around with it. 1 action card is great for 2 points. I also blockade in AT-AT and trap it on Mustafar, which feels good. Now, he could just walk in with his Star Destroyer and eliminate my rebel units. I don't hate that idea. That would free up another AT-AT. That would eliminate the rest of my fighters. He's going to gather intel with Boba Fett. Okay, I'll try to block that with Leia. It's 2-2. Missed the first two. I should be in queue for this one. Double negative. Okay. Double positive. Okay. Is that 0 for 3 with contesting? Might be. Okay. So he drew probes. Great. 3, 1, 2, 2 probes. Okay, building alliance. I don't have any objectives I'm building to, so I just want to make this awkward for him. So Bespin's nice because 2 turns I'm going to get a speeder, and it really is going to put some pressure on him for him to deploy a Star Destroyer into Celeste. So he opposes, maybe to get rid of C-3PO, I'm not sure. Roll 2. He rolls 0. All right. Evening up the luck a little bit here. So no 3PO. I might have spent 3PO. I don't think I would have spent 3PO there. Okay. So Tarkin. Okay, Tarkin goes to Kessel. We knew we didn't know about Kessel, so that seems fine. And the sabotage and Seleucami probably tips that off a little bit. Not in Kessel. Probably should have picked Dantooine for a base instead of Yavin. It looks like they're right next to each other, but Dantooine's really just so much further. Then I'd only have this one Mon Cal to deal, or this one guy to deal with. Okay, another sabotage in place on Toydaria. Fine. Tatooine. And what do I do here? I'm down on leaders because I had 2 on playing the assault. So infiltrate. That seems good. He's moved 1 to Tatooine. So I could either take raid outposts for the potentially automatic, but he's still got 2 more guys to move. So I'll take the 6 loyalty one, which feels fine. It appears he's going to prioritize cleaning up sabotages, so I'm likely to get my loyalty capped. And I'm already, with Bespin, I'm already at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loyalty already, so there's a decent chance I'll keep it. Okay, I'm going to block Celeste with Chewie, and this, I believe, ends up being a mistake. My idea was if I block it, I'm going to force him to attack with the assault carrier, and then I can retreat to Bespin, build, and then attack there. The other thing I was considering is just moving the transport to Bespin, but I thought I could pull an action out of him by doing this. I block hits, and he deploys a TIE fighter, which surprised me a little bit, because he won't be able to kill my unit because he rolls all zeros. But even if he rolled a red hit and a crit, that still wouldn't have done it. He would have needed to roll 3 crits, which was unlikely. Okay. All right, so I retreat now back to Bespin, and he plays track them, which is a great move from him. I totally didn't even think about track them. I thought I was just getting an extra leader committed to something, and instead now he's going to, which that explains why he didn't play the TIE Fighter card. I should have just let the transport die. But I wanted to get some sort of value out of it. So he kills it with the TIE Fighter card. I kill a TIE Fighter with ion cannon. And he unfortunately subjugates Bespin. So that doesn't feel great. So now I'm thinking, he's going to be able to check Endor next turn unless I can hit and run that assault carrier if I get lucky and draw my last one. Okay, he R&Ds to clean up Seleucami. I know everybody's been commenting on that. Oh, check this out. Andy goes to Ilum. So going to Ilum means I wouldn't have had anywhere to do my raid outposts, so it ends up being good that I put the 6 loyalty one on there anyway, I think. I just got to be careful of propaganda because propaganda is going to set me back like crazy if that goes off. I drew Rogue Squadron raid, which feels pretty great. Because I need him to deploy one of those Star Destroyers, although I don't know if he's going to deploy it on Bespin or not. Maybe he does. I put the Moncal in the base to encourage it. Okay, so he has the 9 leader card with Jabba, and then with Krennic, he has the look at my objectives one. So I will give him. We know that one of those is raid outposts, and one of those is my 6 loyalty card. So I imagine he'll put raid outposts on top still, so I can probably still infiltrate and get some value out of it. We know the last one is not Death Star plans, obviously. Because we were able to steal those like the bums we are. Okay, I deploy the Moncal and the Y-Wing in the base to try to encourage him to deploy the Star Destroyer on Bespin. I have 2 troops in Mandalore, which I didn't really have anywhere else to put him. I have this little kind of army in the mid-rim that I could bring out. Okay, he does put the Star Destroyer in Bespin, so he's definitely going to find out about Endor now. But that's also going to lock that Star Destroyer out of place because I'm going to score at least one, probably 2 more objectives now, 6 loyalty and long war, which then 1, 2, 3, 4. So I really just need to survive 4 turns. So the Star Destroyer from Ilum can go 1, 2, 3 and make it. The Star Destroyer from Kessel can get to Mandalore and then attack Yavin too. And this assault carrier in Moncal can also get to Yavin. So, okay, fair enough. And 1 more assault carrier in Seleucami. Okay, I've got Rogue Squadron raid to take care of the other Star Destroyer on the queue right now. I just need to make sure it doesn't get blocked. And he does have Veers out, and he does have Vader. So, hard to know. Hard to know what the right move here is. Lots of missions for him. I'm going to just go ahead and open up with Rogue Squadron because I don't think he'll block it because I think he wants to check Endor. So by playing Rogue Squadron in Bespin, it reduces the chance that he's going to take a low... I mean, it's probably like maybe a little worse than 50-50 block, but so be it. Okay, and then he's going to gather intel where my Y-Wing is, which locks my Y-Wing in place if I block it. I don't know if I should have done that. I feel like the Y-Wing maybe could have made a run at the assault carrier. Use the Y-Wing bombing run card plus get a hit with the U-Wing. That'd be pretty good. I don't know. Anyway, I block it and I miss. So I think that's 1 successful block, 3 failed blocks. We're going to infiltrate in Bespin. See what he put on top. Oh, he put the 3. So Return of the... Yeah, that's right. Okay. So Return of the Jedi or Heart of the Empire. And he's going to know which one we put where. So I put Heart of the Empire on the bottom because, I don't know. Because I thought maybe I could get away with a Return of the Jedi. I do have a Incite Rebellion. And I do have Mon Mothma with C-3PO, so I could pull off like an Incite Rebellion against the Emperor. And then, oh Lord, Piet does a long-range probe on Yavin. So I try to block it with Maydeen, 2/2, but he has +2. So this is low chance. 0. Okay, 0/3. Okay, so that goes through. And I have to tell him, yes, Yavin is the base. He informs me at that point that his last opponent, Jim, picked Yavin as a base as well. So great, way to go. Okay, sabotage. I don't know where to sabotage, so I sabotage Felucia. Maybe, yeah, because if he lets that go, I don't know. I don't want both of those assault carriers to team up in Felucia, so I'm trying to make it less attractive to do so. He could just pull the Star Destroyer, the other, I mean, he could just group everything up in Selakami and then go to Mandalore and then to Yavin, right? So he could pull together a huge force pretty easily here. I do have all those X-Wings, Y-Wings, and U-Wing, or, yep, just kind of floating around. So I can, like, move those to Kashyyyk would be good. You'll also see I kept Chewie, Maydeen, Leia, and Lando all back and only ran 4 missions. And the idea was, like, I need to move those starfighters maybe, but I could have just rapid mobilized those starfighters back to the base. I didn't need to keep somebody out to move them, so, like, I could have put Lando on rapid. Okay, Vader moves to Endor, so now the 2 Endor and Kessel that I thought we might have to bail out to, we do not anymore. So instead of, like, running, I mean, there weren't other great missions to run, but a rapid I think would have been good here, just to see what popped up. I don't know if I would move, but so Lando is going to hang. Oh, he's going to move. Okay, so here's the thought. If I move my fleet out to Mandalore, I can make an aggressive strike out to Seleucami or to Ord or to Megiddo, wherever he builds that Star Destroyer, I can attack out. So, okay, he's going to go for Felucia. Is he going to pull both assault carriers there? Yep. Okay. And then if he rules by fear there and succeeds and then R&Ds, then he can deploy a Star Destroyer there too. And then that's going to be a very important battle to fight. I'm going to get a little bit of deployment, and then also had I rapid mobilized instead of, like, moved them to Kashyyyk, then I could have used them in the next fight. But that didn't happen. So rule by fear. Riken's been waiting his whole life for this. 1 versus, like, 4, I think. 0. That seems to be a theme. 0s for blocks. Okay, so finding rolls a success. That's a take. I pass, and then tag for R&D. Oof. Oh, but no Star Destroyer because we Rogue One did. But 2 assault carriers is not bad. They're 4 hit points, and they're, 2 black, 2 red. A Moncal is 4 hit points and 2 black and 3 red. Now the 1 red makes a difference, but, all right, fine. So Mandalore, everything moving out. I already put raid outposts at the bottom last turn, so it's so now we know we're going to draw Return of the Jedi, and then we're also going to have the Attack the Core next, the middle Coruscant card. So, it looks like he's keeping a planetary force back there, but yeah, I might just end up throwing Return of the Jedi into the dumps. All right. I am 1, 2, 3, 4 turns away here from winning. but he has things that are 2 turns away from my base. So I need 2 objectives, or I need to win some combat here. Okay, so what do I have for tricks? I have a heist, but the problem is there's no Death Star to heist off of. So nothing to do there. And then I've got support of the Moncal, but with support of the Moncal, I don't have enough time to get the Moncal out on the queue. Okay, we know that the next 2 objectives are going to be a level 3 and a threaten the core that I'm probably not going to take. And so my assessment here is the path to survival is to attack with everything into Felucia. And if I do that, then I can kill those 2 assault carriers, and then he'll only have the 2 Star Destroyers left. He can deploy the bunker there too. So he's got a couple of tricks he could do. But deploying the bunker where the assault carrier is, I think, would be a really good move. Like bunker and a TIE fighter, maybe. And then putting the U-wing in the base lets me attack out as well. He doesn't have Ozzel, right? So and these fighters and Kashyyyk are just doing nothing. So that feels bad. Yeah, if I were him, I would deploy the shield bunker and he has a 3rd assault carrier. Yeah, I'd put although he doesn't have the shield bunker card anymore, so maybe not, unless he's got Tag's starting action card, and then you could defend with Tag and pull out the shield bunker card. That'd be good. The other route I can go is I can attack the Star Destroyer first, right? I could attack the Star Destroyer in Seleucami. I don't really have anything I can do to start the evacuation. I seem to think to myself heist and support of the Moncal are a good idea. I'm pretty sure I figure that out later. The battle card, Prepare for Battle, is really important to play here, because if I attack, I'm going to play the Moncal card, and then I can get my cards back, including the Flip the Combat card. So that's going to be critical from timing. I also need to keep Chewie back to prevent planetary assault. And then I also need to keep somebody else back to prevent draw them out. So, because somebody could, Tag could draw out Chewie, and then Chewie couldn't block planetary assault, planetary conquest, or whatever. And then I've only got a couple of speeders in the base right now. I have a 3rd on the queue that I'm about to deploy, but yeah. Okay, there's a 3rd assault carrier. So now he's rolling 4 black, 3 red. Yeah, probably put that 5th TIE fighter out there. So then he's rolling 5 black, and he can wipe all my fighters, which is gross. And he can potentially almost play a double damage card if I don't do a good job of wiping that. But I don't see another obvious play. I cannot let those things get together. For example, if I do something like move Kashyyyk to Malastare, and let him attack me with 2 Star Destroyers, 3 assault carriers, and 17 TIE fighters, that seems like an awful idea, even if I'm on the defense. So I think, defeat in detail, and I don't want the base to be revealed. So, maybe there's something to be said for just retreating in the base and having the ion cannon help me out here. But again, even if that's the case, if I'm the Empire and that happened, I would move everything to Mandalore, except unless maybe I had an opportunity to kill Kashyyyk. But I'd move everything to Mandalore, and then next turn I'd attack Yavin. Sure, I might score something to get to 9, and then I might score something to get to 8, but then Yavin would fall with that huge force, I think. But let me know in the comments what you would have done here at minute 50 that we're in, because it's not immediately clear to me what the right move is. This is where not having the experience can sit funny, right? All right, let's fast forward here. So I realize Heist and Support of the Moncal are not worth playing here. I put Mothma on Incite Rebellion because I'm going to try to end it and win with a Return to the Jedi wherever Vader or the Emperor go if he makes a slip up. That's not an uncommon thing for a person who is getting their feet back under them in this game. All right, so he plays Boba, Veers, Jabba, Tag. There's no real way to clean up Kessel or wherever. So, okay, Lando attacks out in this huge space battle. Why did I bring Lando and not Wedge? I mean, I don't know. That seems insane. What is Wedge doing? That's the whole reason you're here, Wedge. Like Lando's just going to walk out and get captured by Boba Fett? That seems bad. All right, he blocked 1, 2. I did 3, 4 damage. So just even damage to a bunch of stuff. That should be on the Striker. No, 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 that should be on the Striker. Because he's got a cancel card. All right, fine. Literally putting on 1 assault carrier makes no sense. All right, so he does 2 damage. He's got 2 rerolls. And then I'm blocking 1 more red hit if he happens to roll that. So I would reroll the green and the black. Because green gives you a chance to... Actually, no, just 2 black is I think what I would reroll. Kill those fighters. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yep, 1 more hit. So Corvette is down. And then Y-Wing is down, probably. I think. Yeah, Moncal's got 4, so you can't kill that. Although you could overload it. But, I mean, this is like why the fleet's that Moncal card's so good. Like now he did rescue his Striker, which is too bad. But now I've got a healthy Moncal against a single guy with no swarm tactics. So like this fight should be really good. Okay. He has a cancel card, but I kind of got to do damage anyway, so I want to kill things. So I'm just going to let him decide to play it if he wants. He does. Okay. Fine. I kept the hold them back card for next turn in case he canceled that one. Maybe that was the wrong play. Not very good for that. Maybe I brought Lando because I wanted 2 ground rerolls. I don't know. And then up here we actually had a game crash, so we had to reset everything, which was fine. And then Krennic's roll was 1 heal, 1 damage, another heal. Okay. So fine. So I didn't kill anything there. Now this is a little bit awkward. I do have plenty of stuff here, so I could probably just run a no heal and then make sure the assault carrier dies, but I'm also likely to overroll reds. So I think the correct move here is to ion cannon the Striker. I also should not be retreating here. If Krennic wants to retreat, that's good for me. Yeah, I decide to stay. And Krennic is debating between going to where the Star Destroyer is and going back to Mon Cal. If I'm Krennic, I think I'm retreating to Seleucami. Now, the hard part about that is you want that Star Destroyer to move to Mandalore, so maybe I do stay. I probably stay, play Tractor Beam, try to get a lucky kill on the Mon Cal. And I think if I'm Lando, I'm playing Ion Cannon on the Striker, but instead I'll play No Heal. Oh no, I play Deploy. I don't like that. Okay, and he played the Striker card to blow up somebody on the ground. I think I should be conceding ground and be worried about space here. Past me does not agree with current me. Okay, 3 damage, 2, and then 1. That's fine. No, get the Striker. Get the... What are we doing? Wow. Okay. 1 heal. Yeah, that's not good. I mean, he's just gonna... no, I wouldn't re-roll that. Okay. I rolled a heal. Okay. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna let everything go the way it's supposed to go. Okay. So he healed his assault carrier, which is a great roll. Healed the Striker. Can kill all 3 of my fighters if he wants. Yep. Wow. Nasty. Okay, ground combat. I've hold them back. Get rid of the fighter. He is going to damage 2 of my troops. Okay. And then I have no hits. 1 heal. Okay. He has 1 hit. He can reroll both of those. I mean, unlikely the... Oh. What did he do to... Oh, okay, fine. Okay. 1 Mon Cal against 4 hit points of things. Apparently... See, I don't... whatever. It's fine. I am way overkilling this. I guess I'm worried about the base being revealed and the Mon Cal dying, which is not right. I'm assigning my damage really poorly in this battle, I think, is what's going on here. Thankfully, he did not roll a bunch of crits, so just 2 rerolls with Krennic. Okay, another heal. But I did enough damage. All right, maybe I did do enough damage. Okay, no card next turn. He takes 1 damage. I do not heal that, so I'm dead. Okay. Do I keep drawing? Because that way I can get my card back. My cards back, maybe. And then he does 1 damage. Nothing but a heal. Okay, 1 damage, 1 heal. Okay. Nothing. 1 damage and 1 heal. Okay, that's not good either. Oof, Lord. Can do it again. Okay. He has no card this round because of outrun them. So we have to sort that back out briefly, but he basically doesn't get to play a card. So the way to fix that is to put his cards back. There we go. Okay. So I'll do 1 damage and then try to keep this Okay, there's my other damage, and then let's roll a heal. Nope. Okay. Everything's dead. 2 and 2. Okay, and then see if Krennic can finish this guy off. 1 more. Barely. All right. That was not the force I envisioned having at the end of this fight here. He could attack in with the Star Destroyer and the Strikers and whatnot. Okay, but he's going to use Boba Fett to capture Lando. Now, this is mixed bag because if Lando, like, yes, it's good to capture Lando because of independent operation. And he rolls all blanks, but he has +2 for Boba, so it works. So this is mixed blessing because if he attacks now, or I could actually just retreat. I could just retreat that Mon Cal into the base, bring the fighters home with a rapid. But instead I build alliance in Felucia. To give my Mon Cal a chance to retreat if he attacks it. And I roll a 0 again. So I can't. Oh, man. Also, I have a U-Wing in base. So I could have attacked, played Rogue One for the rescue card, and retreated my Mon Cal to Mandalore, and then rescued Lando. But then I would have had to fight 2 Star Destroyers. So I don't know, maybe that was my idea. Okay, so block 2 hits and do 1 damage was what I did. He plays no card next turn because that was the last card he had in his hand. Fine. This should survive because he would need 4 crits to kill me. And he still could roll that. But yeah, should roll a green dice. Okay. Okay, 3 crits. Okay, we're fighting back. 1 hit, 1 heal. I think, yeah, I'm just retreating, so let's just roll for crits. And okay, 2 hits. Kill 2 more strikers. Okay, that was good. I've got 3 damage on the Mon Cal, and then I can retreat. Yeah, he stays, I retreat. And so now that 1 Star Destroyer has attacked Felucia, that means the other Star Destroyer can attack Mandalore. The problem is I can't really retreat from Mandalore because I'd have to go to Kashyyyk unless I reveal the base, which I don't want to do because I desperately want to deploy there next turn. So anticipating another Star Destroyer attacking, I'm actually going to move dudes into Mandalore. And now he's going to hunt them down with Veers. So hunt them down. I'm going to block with Chewie plus Leia and hope he doesn't roll 3. Okay, he did not. Okay. Whew. Man, I could have used Wookiee Guardian, but wasn't worth it. Okay, so then I rapid, and now the Emperor does not go for the kill shot. I think that's probably right because he didn't have swarm tactics available. So the Emperor goes to Dathomir. Maydeen is going to infiltrate. Okay. Show no fear and seize control. Well, it has to be seize control because show no fear doesn't have enough time to go off. So seize control is right. And then I need to be thoughtful about where I sabotage here. Okay. Oversea project. Oh no. Okay, we have a second Star Destroyer that's out on Dathomir now. Wow. Okay. Sabotage on somewhere I can seize control. No. No. I guess. Okay. Maybe I get lucky. I mean, I'm rolling against 2 dice against 4. Rolled 2. Yeah, that didn't work. I guess seize control doesn't win it for me next turn. Not looking good for the Rebs, man. Okay, Vader consolidates to a central location in case of a base move from Rapid. And Mothma passes. I guess I'm thinking I can just run seize control on Toydaria, maybe. Okay, maybe not. Rule by fear. Okay. Man, I just wasted, because Mothma wasn't on Build Alliance, I wasted a loyalty. And then I passed with the mission because I saw seize control. I guess maybe I was trying to hunt Vader, but I didn't have an option to do it because Vader's in Celeste and Emperor's on a place I can't do that on. So, okay, fair. Was guarding against it pretty well. Annie's playing exceptionally well here. I bring the single X-wing I have back to base, and I discard. I do an analysis or some calculations, and really the only time I have to score is now. So I discard. He played against Return of the Jedi well, so I'm just going to assume I'm not going to be able to score it. Lando's captured. That's bad. I have not enough stuff in the base I can bring out to fight. If I make a move to the base first, then I'm going to be fighting three Star Destroyers, an assault carrier, 2 AT-ATs, 2 AT-STs. What a mess. I need to score seize control this turn, and I need to not lose the base this turn. He put a bunker out where Maydeen is sitting right now, and I definitely made the mistake of blowing up an AT-ST and a Stormtrooper and not the shield bunker, because I know that, I mean, now... So there's multiple problems. So by doing that, I could sabotage the shield bunker to prevent Imperial Might from going off. But I also need to, oh boy. All right. This seems like poorly calculated too, but maybe not. I don't know. All right. I'm just, current me is very confused. Like, I think I go after maybe this is right. Maybe this is right because I can't let 2 AT-ATs walk into my base, right? So I need to bring every starfighter I have into here. I also should have revealed the base, I think, because that way I could retreat to the base. And I have And I didn't run Saw's mission, so I didn't get the Moncal card back. I'm just going to see what happens here. I should flip the combat. Flip the combat is the right move here, because he can't retreat to anywhere useful. But instead, I just say I'm going to bully my way through and shoot this Star Destroyer down. Probably because I have no heal for next turn. Okay, 1, 2, 3. He blocks those black hits. So I do 2 red damage on the Star Destroyer. Okay, so if he heals here, I can kill him next turn, probably. So he's got 4 damage on him. And he blocked my hits against the fighter. Okay, no heal. 2 damage, 1 heal. Okay, 1 heal. 2 kills on Y-Wings. Lord. All right. And he's got his cards back, so he's got the block 2 red hits too. So I really need like a crit with my black dice here. Not that particular one, but and so yeah, I guess my play is to roll no heal and then roll 3 crits when he plays block 2 red hits and somehow not have me die here. And if I'd flipped the combat, well, I don't know, maybe flip the combat wasn't right. I wouldn't have any Y-Wings left. Maybe I rolled a black heal. I don't know. I'm not really sure what I'm doing here. Okay, let's he plays block 2 red hits, I play no heal. That's probably right, because flipping the combat there doesn't do any good. Okay, no direct hits. That's blocked. I should have been rolling black dice, not red, because black dice, I'd have a 3rd hit on a TIE fighter just in the off chance he rolls 2 heals here. He rolls 1 heal, 2 more hits on the Moncal. So my no heal card was worthless. Wow. Okay. I have prevent black hits, so I can keep my X-Wings alive, maybe. There's nowhere else from, I didn't reveal the base, so it's not like my Moncal can go back to Yavin. And this is really bad because those 2 AT-ATs and 2 AT-STs are going to wreck my 3-speeder base, especially because of Imperial Might as well. So I think about it a little bit and I say, okay, YOLO, right? Flipping the combat doesn't do any good. So I might as well try to save my X-Wings here. So block 2 hits, he does 1 damage. That's going to land another damage on my... yeah, he does on my Moncal, I guess. Okay, 3 damage is exactly enough to kill everything if he doesn't heal. My Moncal's toast. Rolls blanks. So Moncal is dead. He needs a heal very badly here. Oh, actually, that black hit is oh, no. The black hit's blocked. No, Wombat, you still have an X-Wing. Oh no! Do I catch it? I do not catch it. Yep. Okay. Well, that's actually a fairly big deal because the X-Wing would be blockading that system right now. Um, okay, so exploit weakness. What a card. I try to block exploit weakness. I roll 2. Wedge and Leia defending Lando. And they're going to be at 6. Oh, yeah. Wedge, Leia, and Lando gets his dice too. So I roll 4. He rolls 5. Okay. That puts Seize Control back on top of the deck. So I cannot score it this round, which is even more why I needed to play. I guess he doesn't actually have anything on the queue, so Imperial Might doesn't really help him in wherever. Oh wow, what a game. It's like I've forgotten. It's been like 2 weeks or since I played this game, I think. So it's like it's kind of refreshing. I obviously know the end, but it's fun watching it in reverse. Okay, so I try to rescue with Dodonna. The Emperor blocks it. And then Piet is going to trigger with an ATST and a troop. He's going to trigger the base. No, just with an ATST. Okay. So I play the shield bunker card and I drew the tow cables card back. So I play the shield bunker card. He plays the shield bunker card to flip the combat. Okay. And then I have now by revealing the base, I don't get to deploy anything additional on there, so fine. Okay. I removed the damage with the shield bunker, so my guys are all still alive. Okay, sabotage. I have to set up for a Mothma mission first turn, next turn. So I choose to do it on Naboo. I also, because he's got to build alliance, right? I also could have done this on Bespin or Utapau because he can get out of things if I put it on, like Bothwy, for example. Okay, so he plays Discredit Rebellion, which now if I roll I can't afford to remove the sabotage. So, oh man, I could have put it on a place where there was something else. No, okay, no crit. If I had rolled a crit, I'd go back in reputation. So that was a great move too. Holy cow. Okay, he's got probably Planetary Assault. I don't know what Krennic and Tarkin are on. Planetary, I do have the Wookiee still. He didn't have Draw Them Out, so I'll cancel it with the Wookiee. I guess maybe I could have instead used the Wookiee to prevent the removal of the sabotage or the seize control. I could have blocked exploit and then played sabotage and then ran my rebellion. So anyway, long story short, I passed with Mothma. Now he was able to deploy that assault carrier onto Felucia because I didn't have my X-wing there, which is fine, not a huge deal. In theory, yeah, it's fine. So I go ahead and run Incite Rebellion on on Naboo, which he can't stop because of C3PO. And then that's going to allow me to score seize control, which will end this game. Wild. Wild game. So Emperor goes to block it. Doesn't matter. If it does, he does. I can detach C3PO to pull out 3 troopers, and then I have hold them back, which will automatically kill the tank. And then that will allow me to score seize control with Mothma, which is crazy. Krennic and Tag are obviously sitting on shield on the shield bunker deploy card. It didn't losing the X-wing didn't matter, I guess, in theory. If I were to go back in time and we caught the X-wing, then the correct move would have been to just destroy the shield bunker, because then he couldn't have gotten an assault carrier onto those AT-ATs. But small potatoes, mistakes happen for sure. So that was the end of round 1. During the first game of round 3. And then for the second game of round 3, we swap, and I'll be playing the Empire, and Annie will be playing the Rebels. We did actually run a hypothetical just to see what the combat could have looked like in a different story. And if he could have gotten those AT-ATs on top of my group, he would have won that ground combat. It would have been close, but yeah. So that's how that looked. Thanks for watching.